on WNN.
If you've decided to get back to feeling good again like you used to feel, then you're invited to tune in to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob, at your service Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
People are learning in a classroom how money is made from home at Online Trading Academy. Just how much?
100, 200, 300. They were able to get to $500 a day in a little over 8 months. 500 a day, folks, is $10,000 a month.
Get classroom instruction on how money can be made from home and how risk is limited. Learn stocks, options, futures, forex. Learn step-by-step from professional traders at Online Trading Academy.
Everyone starts off very small baby steps. You know, if you can't average $100 a day, there's no way you're going to be able to make $300 a day or $3,000 a day in the markets.
Thousands have learned how money can be made from home with limited risk at Online Trading Academy. Attend a free half-day class to see how it works in Broward and Palm Beach. Online Trading Academy. Call now. 561-674-9800. 561-674-9800. That's 561-674-9800.
Talk here, talk there. Talk 1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier, and I want to welcome you to Comm-Unity Conversations on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. This show is about you. I want to hear your trials and triumphs, challenges and victories, and how you overcome obstacles every day in our dynamic industry. All callers are welcome to join Community Conversations. This is where we'll discuss all things in common. We'll discuss managers, directors, vendors, and owners. Let's elevate the conversation. Raise the bar. Start here, now. Happy Friday. Welcome in to Community Conversations with Tanoa. I'm your host, Tanoa Lynn Poirier. It is just you and me today. We are going to spend the next 28 minutes or so together. Now, you know, the focus of this show is mostly about community associations, but it's called Community Conversations with Tanoa. When we think about community, it's bigger than just the area within the gates of community associations or the property of your condominium, HOA, timeshare, mobile home community, or co-op. Those are all of the areas that are covered under community associations. But even when we live inside of a gated community or a community association, outside of that community is our neighborhood. And then outside of that is our city, town, or village. And then you think beyond that, our county, state. And then, of course, we are all a part of this great country. So we're going to do something a little bit differently today because I have been a little bit burdened and inspired to make a change one person at a time. And so, as I teased in my social media today, I'm issuing 2 challenges to myself and to you so that we can make a difference together. I'm going to do it. I'm going to encourage the people around me, close to me, whom I love and who are part of my staff, family, and friends to join me. And I hope that if you are within the sound of my voice, that you will also accept at least one of these challenges. I'm going to give you a little bit of background of how I've come to this decision. And my husband is going to appreciate this. Hi, honey. Because he often thinks that I have too large a diet of news and negative input that kind of can be a bummer, let's face it. There's a lot of news around us that is very distracting, disgusting, let's face it, destructive, deceitful, and disappointing. And kind of a steady diet of that begins to erode your faith in other people, thinking that it's everybody just corrupt and bad. And I submit that no, they are not. That those are the ones that get the attention and are highlighted, but I reject it. One of my guests called me something like the grand poobah of positivity. And although I'm not always positive, I tend to be generally positive. So I was standing in a store. It's the store that sells lots of housing things. And there was a guy who had a handful of coupons. And if you know the store I'm talking about, the coupons come, they never expire, and you can go in and purchase something. You can get a 20% off, or sometimes there's a $5 coupon. And he was spreading them out, gifting everybody in line. And so we are so suspect about somebody doing something nice that you kind of accept it and you think, what's going on here? What is wrong? Why is he being nice? Well, how sad is that? So he gave one to me and the person in front of me in line, and she turned around to me and said, wow, I guess everybody doesn't suck. Do you see what I mean? That's terrible. How could this man was just trying to make other people happy, gift somebody with a discount. He had plenty of coupons. They didn't have a name on them, and they had no expiration date. And often we'll have these coupons. They're in our car or at home, and we're like, oh, I can't believe I forgot my coupons again. This man was smiling as he was gifting these coupons to people, because doing things for other people makes you feel good. It just does. So then as I approach this holiday season, and I'm going to visit family next week for Thanksgiving, I recognize that we are getting into the season where people are super anxious and people are already uptight, right? I mean, you just need to drive around, go to the grocery store, go to the dry cleaners, go to the gas station, and everyone's impatient and uptight. And I believe it is partially because of the energy. And I'm not this new age kind of, out there person, but I can feel it. Everybody can feel it. I'm also a person of faith. So if I'm a person of faith, I have to behave like a person of faith, and not accept that everybody is bad or disappointing or deceitful or destructive. I want to flip that script. So instead of being destructive, let's be constructive. Instead of being deceitful, let's be people of integrity. Instead of being disappointing, be a person of your word. Instead of, I don't know, what did I write here? Being disagreeable all the time. Try to find consensus with somebody that you are engaging in business with, that you are working with in your job or occupation or business, as I do. But try to build consensus rather than coming from the place of disagreement. And if you disagree, can you try to be not disagreeable? That you can say, okay, you know what? I think you're wrong. You think you're right. Let's just leave it there and see how it comes out in the wash. I think we can do that. And I want us to exercise our positivity muscle. It is something that has to be worked on, because I think that in general people gravitate toward negativity and negative stories because we're human. And sometimes when we hear something bad happening to someone else, or we hear someone struggling, does it make us feel a little bit better about ourselves? Like, it's bad for me, but it's not that bad. I think that is a general, and I'll just say that I think that's kind of how I see it, and I don't think I'm alone, but I'll own that. But what we have to do is try to exercise that positivity muscle and reject hearing bad things about people and kind of feeling, I must be doing okay because I'm not that bad. Or seeing something posted on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn, where they're pointing out somebody's who is not attractive or has made an interesting choice about clothing, or perhaps a picture has caught them where they're not so attractive. And then we send that to people who are going to share in this unkindness. And I believe that if I just start and you just start, that we can begin to turn the tide just by exercising that positivity muscle. I'm not asking you to go out of your way and spend lots of money and have a personality transplant. What I'm saying is I believe that you want to feel better. I know that when you give to other people and you help somebody else, that you are guaranteed to feel better. And some examples for me were cited recently. As you know, that during the hurricane season, we had a very bad hurricane season. And God bless Puerto Rico, and I mean that with all sincerity. They're still going through it. But there were also, and are also, inspiring, incredible stories of people helping strangers. In Texas, it was people going to get their boats, and they knew that people had rising water in areas of the city that did not evacuate. They got in their boats. People who with waist-deep, chest-deep, neck-deep water were rescued by strangers. Some of those strangers actually took people into their homes whom they didn't know. And one of the stories I read, or I heard about, was about the fact that they had lost everything and they weren't sure how they were going to repay these really generous, kind, giving people. No worries, no problem. Don't worry about it. I have food and I want to share my food with you. I have a roof and I want to share it with you. And there are lots of stories just like that happen whenever there's a crisis, a catastrophe, a storm, or when someone experiences a misfortune. I see it all the time. In Florida, there are lots of people who had power tools, went to their neighbors who didn't have power tools, and they together worked on clearing the roads. And they had never met each other yet. They live on the same block, and they had never had a conversation. Because we tend to want to keep ourselves safe because the world feels dangerous and scary, and we don't know whom we can trust. But that's not the way we're supposed to live. And I'm not asking you to do something dangerous, go somewhere dangerous, or do something that is going to put you or your family at risk. What I'm saying is, as an individual, what I'm going to do and what I'm asking you to do is accept challenge number one. And how this works is, as you know, I have a social media presence, and it's at Hello Tanoa on Twitter, and it is Poye Enterprises on LinkedIn, and I have a website called hellotanoa.com. But I would like for you, when you accept this challenge, hashtag Hello Tanoa Challenge number one. And what I'm asking you to do for this first challenge is just when you post something on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, and there are probably others which I don't know about because I'm not a millennial, you are going to, if you are compelled to retweet, repost something that is not altogether positive, would you do this? Just this. Post something positive. Post something positive following a retweet that may be important to you. And it may be about politics, or it may be about sports, or it may be about business, where you're highlighting something that somebody did that was wrong or bad. And then you give an opinion about that, and you perhaps it's not positive. Would you follow that up with something positive so we can balance that energy? When I go on social media and I'm just looking to post something and I'm reading through it, it is by and large a really kind of depressing place to be. And you can often lose yourself, and 10 minutes later you're feeling kind of awful because you've read this list of really depressing, sad things in politics and in industry and all of the things that are happening now around Hollywood and sort of abuse of power. You have a voice. You are as important as anyone else. And I have a voice. And I have been granted this platform, this gift of being able to speak to you. And so what should I do with this platform? I submit that I should use it to make the world better. So, kind of as a recap, challenge number 1, you're going to do hashtag Hello Tanoa, Tanoa, challenge number 1. When you post, when you retweet, when you post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or wherever else, you are going to balance your post with positive and negative. And it can be a positive quote that you've read that speaks to you. It can be pictures of a cat. It can be a throwback photo of a time when you were happy and smiling, just something positive. Let's balance that energy because you are going to affect somebody who sees your post and who follows you, that you are attempting to change the energy, to change the dynamic and flip that script, okay? When we get back, we're going to talk about my motivation for challenge number 2. I'll see you back here in 2. What is on everyone's mind these days when they think of starting a project in their home or community? Where can I find a qualified, certified, and licensed contractor I can trust? Allow me to introduce you to Trusted Construction. They have provided expert construction and roofing services in South Florida since 2009. Trusted Construction has earned a reputation for superior, consistent, dependable service. Trusted Construction will guide you from project conception to completion. Call 561-582-5758. Tell them Tanoa sent you. Hello, listeners. It's Tanoa Lynn from Community Conversations. Did you know I authored a book called 365 Tips for Community Association Managers, Property Managers, and Property Owners? Yep, I did. The book is filled with little, bite-sized morsels that may help anyone working and living in any community. From working with difficult people to building consensus for big projects. There is something in it for everyone. 365 Tips is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also go online to hellotanoa.com. That's hello, Tanoa.com. Welcome back. This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier with Community Conversations. And I want to remind you that this show is about you. If you'd like to join the show, you can call us at 888-565-1470. Let's get back to the show. And welcome back. You're listening to Community Conversations with Tanoa. As a reminder, you can call the show if you'd like. It's 888-585-1470, 888-565-1470, or you can just listen because you know I can talk. So before the show, I issued challenge number 1, and we will review that toward the end of the show. I want to tell you my motivation for challenge number 2 is that what I sense people think, because this is what you hear, read, and see on television and on radio, is that we are divided, by culture, by language, by political stripe, by race. And I'm of the opinion that there's only one race, the human race. But for someone like me, who has been married for 25 years to a French-Irish dude, I am clearly not French-Irish. I am African-American. And we have friends of all sorts of, from all sorts of places. We employ people from all sorts of places who speak different languages. And so for us in our world, it's really kind of hard to understand what appears to be the dynamic in the industry. And I am not being Pollyanna here. I recognize that there are deep divisions, and there are reasons for that in our country where people are, there's oppression, and there's prejudice, and there's fear, and there is taking advantage. But I'm not certain that it is as necessary or pervasive everywhere. So I want to encourage you to look around at your surroundings, who you work with, who your friends are, who your family is, who you're married to. And it's often interesting, particularly in Florida, where it is so multicultural, where there's kind of this rainbow of people and languages and shades and hair texture and all of the things that seem to divide us, that you are interact with every day. So it is a little bit confusing to me that we just accept that and don't do anything to try to turn that around. And so the next challenge is hashtag Hello Tanoa Challenge 2. And this challenge is when you are, for the rest of November, in a store, coffee shop, gas station, I don't know, and you're at a restaurant, would you consider paying for a coffee, a couple of gallons of gas, a meal for someone without looking for thanks for it? For an example, if you're in a drive-through McDonald's, I like McDonald's, I'm not embarrassed about that, and you are, there's someone behind you, just tell the folks at the window, I want to buy their lunch. And then just give them a $10 bill or a $20 bill, whatever you can afford. And just when that person goes to pay for their meal, someone will say, this has already been taken care of. Can you imagine how you have changed their day? Can you imagine how you have brightened their day and inspired and encouraged them? And if you are in a grocery store, and I have done this, and it feels so good, let me tell you what happens. So you're in a grocery store, and you have often seen, and maybe you've been the person who have had this happen to you, you've seen someone with a finite amount of money, and they get the total for their purchases, and you see them putting 1 or 2 or 3 items back in order to get to the amount that they can afford. I just, because I've been given much, and I have a heart for people, just offer to pay for those items that they can afford, and often they're very inexpensive, or just say, you know what, I've got you, and pay for their tab, and they now have money to get gas to go to work for the rest of the week. But for me, it is a revelation about how it really is better to give than receive. So when that person says, thank you, you shouldn't have, or I can't let you do that, just say, no, I want to do this. But what I'm asking you is if you would do the same thing for someone else, or as my producer said today, pay it forward when you can. So I don't want to burden you. Not everybody can afford to pay for someone's groceries or buy someone a meal, but can you buy them a coffee? Can you offer to help them with their yard work? Can you offer to help somebody carry their groceries to the car? Or can you offer some assistance to somebody without any expectation of anything else, anything back? That is my challenge. Hello Tanoa challenge number 2. As we get into this holiday season, people are already uptight, and I'm telling you, and you know this is true, that as you get closer to Christmas, there's all of this anxiety because you are with family, and not everybody has a great family dynamic. There's a lot of pressure to be happy at parties and to look like this Norman Rockwell painting when perhaps you're going through some difficult times. And so, or someone else is going through a difficult time. So I'm just asking that on top of everything else that we see here out there that is depressing destructive, demoralizing, disappointing, and deceitful, that we change the way people feel by doing something nice for someone else. It's not that difficult. I'm not asking you to spend a lot of money. I'm saying, will you just extend yourself a little bit for somebody else? And I think you can do it. And here's the deal. I'm doing it, even if you don't do it. And the people around me are going to do it. And I'm going to report to you how this worked out. I'm going to report to you on social media what I've done every day during this challenge. You don't have to do both. You can just do one. So as a reminder, the first challenge is hashtag Hello Tanoa Challenge 1. You are going to balance your social media post, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. If you send something or retweet something that is negative, just follow that up with something positive, or send something positive that day that will balance that energy. I think you can do it. The second challenge that we just went over is, would you just do something nice for somebody else without the expectation of receiving anything back? That is, buy them a coffee, buy somebody lunch, buy them a soft drink, write them a thank you note. If they did something nice for you, not everything has to cost money, but could you even say thank you? Open a door for somebody. Even if they don't say thank you, don't get upset about it. Just be kind. People are struggling during this season. It gets even more intense. All of the problems get amplified. And so I want us to be successful and victorious and happy. So it will begin to restore your joy. One person can make a difference, and I'm going to start. It's going to start with me. Will you join me? Will you join me in one of those two challenges? And let's see what a little challenge can do to make a difference in someone else's life. And then they will make a difference in someone else's life. And that's how it starts. So I thank you for listening to me today. It was just me and you, and I feel really strongly that if we try, we can do anything. Join me for Hello Tanoa Challenges 1 and 2, and I will see you on social media, and I will report back. I'm going to visit my family next week for Thanksgiving, and so you will likely have a repeat of a show unless I can work something else out. But I'm going to be around, and I'm going to be listening, and I will join you the following Friday, and I cannot wait to report what we've done together. Thank you for listening. I will see you next time. Be a blessing to somebody. Endeavor to persevere. Till next time. Bye. You have been listening to Community Conversations with Tanoa Lynn Poirier. It is my honor to host this program, and I appreciate you listening. We have an exciting show planned for you next week, so mark your calendars and join me every Friday at 5 p.m. on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. We look forward to hearing from you, our listeners. It's all about learning, sharing, and teaching. We're all in this together. Until next time, be a blessing to someone and endeavor to persevere.
That's a lot of bang for your buck there. You get 2 doctors in an hour. And then we're here every Friday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. You can also see the shows on All County Healthcare's